to learn how to tell time, especially if you're so used to just looking at a digital clock. But like I said, this is a second grade skill. So if you're finding it a little hard right now, you'll be working a lot more on it when you go into second grade. We're just doing it a little bit and we'll end today with time. And next week, we'll be doing some little summer activities for our math class, okay? I'll go over the time, but did anyone have questions about it? Was there something that just you really didn't understand or you were a little confused about? I heard someone unmuting, so I'm not sure if that was them trying to share with the class. There's my pen, my traveling classroom. Yeah, Riley?
Later.
What was confusing to you, girlie? Oh, she got bumped out. That's okay. I'll go over the homework with you. Let's see if I can change my video. This is so funny because I'm on my different video with my friend, so now I'm just gonna go boop, pop away. And now you can see my homework, right? Oh, that's cool, there's a shadow. I wonder why there'd be a shadow here. It must be because of light being blocked. All right, my friends, remember we do not use the chat room for jokes. Okay, so here is our homework. Can you see that okay? It's a little hard in my traveling classroom. There we go. We'll go do number 1 first. Sorry for the shadow. I'll move it out of the way. There you go. So when it comes to telling time to the half hour, we know that the big hand on the 6 always is going to mean, the big hand on the 6 is always going to mean 30 minutes. Because if there's 60 minutes in the whole hour, you're doing half of an hour. Look at that, it's like a fraction here. See how we've already done half of the entire clock. So if we know that half of 6 is 3, 3 plus 3 equals 6, then we know 30 plus 30 makes half of 60. And that's really just to tell minutes. In second grade, you'll be doing more with minutes, but in first grade, I like to do hours, which is the big hand on the 12, and half hours, which is the big hands on the 6. But with that little hand is very slow. Remember, so the little hand is trying its best to catch up. So as soon as that big hand starts moving, the little hand, like a little turtle, starts moving really slowly. And so when it's halfway through the hour, which I colored here for you, the little hand is halfway in between the 2 hours. Isn't that crazy how fractions and time and addition, they all come into play? I love it. Because you know that. You know addition. You know fractions. You know your shapes. This is a circle. All your math is piling up to make this easier for you. So since we're in between the 8 and the 9, it can either be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Well, I want you to think about which one it would be. And now remember, Stephen had said, and I love how Stephen said this, the little hand can't be a number that it hasn't gotten to yet. So if it passed the 8 o'clock, we know it could be 8:30. But if you look real close, and I'll even zoom in further, zoom, there we are. Oh my gosh, that's crazy, look at that. If you look at this, it hasn't even touched the 9 yet. So that means when it's in between 2 hours, it can't be the one that it hasn't gotten to yet. So you have to go back. Look at me drawing all over my homework. You have to go back to the hour that it's already passed, which would make it 8:30. Now, if I'm looking at the second one here, big hands on the 6, oh, that means 30 minutes. I could kind of look at all of this. Is this all to the half hour? Oh yeah, look, big hands on the 6, 30 minutes. Big hands on the 6, that's 30 minutes. Big hands on the 6, that's 30 minutes. Big hand up 6, 30 minutes. Big hands on the 6, oh, 30 minutes. Look at this. Big hands on the 6, 30 minutes. So on today's homework, you might have to be a bit more careful because I believe that in some cases, no, I was good to you. I was going to give you a harder homework, but oh well. Now we're on the big hands on the 6. So that means that we're halfway down the clock. So half of 60 is 30. We got it. But now look at this little tiny hands trying to catch up. And he's halfway between the 1 and the 2. So ask yourself, what time could this be? If it's in between two numbers, you have to go back to which number the little hand has hit so far. Well, yeah, we know it hit the 11, then it hit the 12, then it hit the 1. Oh, and it's halfway between the 1 and the 2, but it hasn't gotten to the 2 yet. So when it's a half hour and it's halfway in the middle, you have to go back. Right here, I'll even put a giant star on it, which would make this 1:30. All right, let's see. We have in the middle of 9 and 10. We have in the middle of 4 and 5. So let's think. If it's in the middle of two numbers, you have to go back. Typically, unless it's, between 12 and 1 o'clock, you go back to the smaller number. So I know 9 comes before 10. So this must be 9:30, getting ready to be 10 o'clock. Here we have it in between the 4 and the 5. 4 is less. So we have it as 4:30, in between 4 and 5, getting ready to be 5 o'clock, but it has another half hour to go, right? If I was going to shade in the rest of the clock. Now, when you're doing your homework, you absolutely could go through it and shade the clocks. Let's look at this one. This one wanted you to draw lines to it, okay? So for this one, it's 3:30. Well, we know all of these have the 30. So our 6 needs to be, the big hand needs to be on the 6. So we don't have to worry about that. We can worry about the hour hand. If I know it has to be in between two numbers, it would either have to be in between the 3 and the 4. This one would be in between the 10 and then the one above it. So the 10 and the 11. This one would have to be in between the 5 and the number above it, which is 6. And this one, ooh, this one's the trickiest. This would have to be in between the 12 and not 13, right? Because we don't have a 13 on an analog clock. It would have to be in between the 12 and the next hour, which would be 1 o'clock. So let's go look for that. This first clock, it's in between the 10 and the 11. So it would be a match here. Here we have, oh, in between the 12 and the 1, like we were talking about. That's a big line going over here. In between the 3 and the 4, yep, there we go. And then, of course, we only have one left between the 5 and the 6. Yep. So your matching should have looked like this, kind of like two little X's. Now here you had to look at the clock and you had to write the time. So you would have to make sure if the big hand's on the 6, that means 30 minutes. And then whichever ones it's in between, that would mean you'd have to go back to the smaller of the two numbers. This would be 11:30, 7:30, 6:30, and that's in between the 2 and the 3, 2:30. I'll switch back to my, because I can't see you right this second. Let me see there. Now I can. Does anyone have a question about that? I know we sped through like a rabbit. Give me a thumbs up. Did your homework match this? Or thumbs down if it didn't exactly match this a lot. Oh, a sideways. Some of you were really good maybe at one page. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Do you have a question? Or did you just... Okay, yeah, Kenzie, you have a question.
I didn't know you had to match the clocks up on the top of.
Oh, that's okay. It just said draw a line. So that typically means matching. Don't worry, tonight, or today, I mean, your homework is kind of like the same thing, and you have to draw the lines to it. So you'll get to try it again this time.
Miss Roberts?
Yes, Yenna.
I couldn't find the paper.
That's okay. Well, it'll be in your workbook. It's in your math homework book. Okay, so let's go through I'm going to present my screen. We'll go through our little presentation, and you'll help me make some clocks now. Let me know when you can see my screen. Who should I pick on? I'll be high-fiving Julian. Here, and I'll brush Julian's hair. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna play with him. Pat him on the head. Doop, doop, doop. Pat him on the head. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, you can see this? Oh my gosh. I've just been messing with Julian this whole time. Oh, geez. All right, my friend, let's tell some time. I already started talking about time, so this isn't that big of a deal. Let's see. Does anyone remember? Oh, I almost showed you. What are the two types of clocks that we've been learning about? Who would like to try? Okay, Stephen, you can give us one. What's the one that's a circle and it has hours on it like this with the big numbers?
Can I tell you both?
I'm sorry?
Can I tell you both?
Stephen, I don't know if your microphone's really turned on all the way. You're very quiet.
Okay.
Can you try it again?
Analog and digital.
Analog, there he goes. An analog is this big clock that we were using on our homework that has the 12 numbers going around in the circle to show you time keeps going like the circle, it never stops. Who can tell us the one that you would see up in the corner here, or on a watch that maybe has numbers typed out, or in the corner of our classroom? What's that type of clock called? Yeah, Malvina, my birthday girl, she has an idea.
Digital.
Ding, 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 analog and digital. Digital is the computer one. Analog is the old type. You can see here that I have a couple of analog clocks. Oh, I wish I brought it for you. I found this awesome analog clock that I would love to share with you. I don't know if I can bring it back to New Jersey. It might be too big. So I might just have to send a picture and leave it here forever. But there's also a sundial, which is the old type of clock that you could have made. If you still wanted to make one, it's there for my Fun Friday. So we talked about time by the hour. How about this, real quick? When writing the time, you've been getting good at this. First comes the hour, and these two dots here, those are meant to separate the time from the hours and the minutes. We talked earlier in the week about how minutes can go from 0, which shows the start of a new clock, a new hour, to 59. And Ryan taught us that when we finally get to 59 minutes and you add that one more, instead of 7:60, you would say 7:60 turns into 8 o'clock. It would be that next hour. But since we're doing half hours today, we need half of 60, which is 30. Right now it's 9:50. I could even write that. If only it was 30 minutes. Who would like to try and guess? AM, PM. Those are the times of the day that tell you the morning or afternoon and night. So which one means the sun is coming up? Let's see, who would like to guess which is under here? The sun means that it's coming up. Gabriella. I believe we had tried it with Gabriella. I'm curious to see if she gets it.
The one with the sun is AM, the one with the moon is PM.
So Gabriella is saying that when the sun is rising, that means it's AM. And when that sun starts setting and the moon starts coming up, that's PM. All right, let's see. Ding, ding, ding! Yay! Gabriella got it. If you agreed with Gabriella and you got it right, give yourself a pat on the back. If you didn't get it right, do not worry. This can be confusing. As long as you can tell me that it's 9 a.m. or you can say that it's 9:51 in the morning, or that you can say it's 9:51 at night, that is all that matters to me. I don't want you looking outside, seeing the sun and saying it's time for bed. I don't want you looking outside, seeing the pretty stars and the moon and being like, oh, good morning. No, you're not a night owl. So if you aren't yet ready to be telling the difference between AM and PM, just make sure you can tell whether the sun's up or the sun's down, okay? Let's move on. Telling time by the half hours. Okay, my friends, let's guess this time. The little hand means what and the big hand means what? Let's see if someone can tell me. The hands on the clock. The big hand, which one does that mean? Minutes or hours? Let's see. Who would like to take a guess? Uh-oh, I have a lot of first graders not sure about clocks. Dario, you have it? All right, Dario, tell me about this little hand and big hand, and we'll see if you're right.
The big hand means the minutes, and the small hand means the hours.
All right,
and
my friends, thumbs up or thumbs down. How do you figure? Do you agree, disagree? Dario's taking one for the team. He's the one that volunteered. Dario, it seems like your classmates are pretty in agreement. Oh, let's see. Ding, 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 you got it, Dario. The big hand means the minutes. That big hand has to reach to these tiny little notches, whereas the little hand only has to reach these big numbers. So it's talking about the hours. The hands are pointing to what they're counting. That big hand is going around pretty quickly, and that slow little hand is taking its time because an hour is a long time. Awesome job, Dario. Thank you for trying that out. Now, the rest of you, make sure you look at this clock. Try and guess what time. Where is the big hand? Is it on the 12 or the 6? Is it an hour or a half hour? And the little hand is telling you what hour, but it's in between these two. So you have to think, which one did it pass already? It's in the middle, so it has to go back to the smaller one. What time is showing on this clock? I'll give you another 10 seconds. Really study that clock. If you want to tell how many minutes it is, you can count by fives. You can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It won't tell you anything. Who would like to guess what time that is on the clock? Julian, you want to go or are you stretching? All right, Julian. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for anyone who's guessing because this is a big showdown.
4:30.
Are you sure?
Yes.
My friends, Julian is taking one for the team. He is volunteering. Do you agree that it is 4:30? Interesting, Julian. I see half the class agrees and half the class is not sure. Half the class is saying that they disagree. But Julian, are you confident?
Yes.
All right, ready for the big reveal. Ding, ding, ding! Julian, you got it. If you also got it, give yourself a big pat on the back. It is 30 minutes because the big hand is on the 6. And when that little hand is in between two numbers, you go back to the number that it had just passed, like Stephen had taught us. You go back to whichever number is smaller. In this case, between 4 and the 5, it's pretty obvious that it's 4. Awesome job, Julian. Thank you for volunteering to do that. How about we look here? I told you about that big hand going in the middle. When you have the big hand, or the little hand, excuse me, when you go into the little hand and it's in the middle of 2, it likes to go back to the number that it had just passed. So knowing that, what is on the clock now? Ryan, would you like to take a guess?
12:30.
12:30, AM or PM? I tricked you. I didn't even have to mention that because it's an analog clock. All right, Ryan didn't let me trick him. Do you agree or disagree with Ryan, or you're not sure? Let's see. Robert's raising his foot. Some people aren't sure, but a lot of them are agreeing with you. Natalie, that's not even a thumb. Oh, okay, good. All right, Ryan, let's see. Ding, 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 you got it. It's on the 6 with the big hand, which means 30 minutes, Ryan. And if it's in between the 12 and the 1, it has to go back to the number it just was at, that it just passed. 12:30 is the most confusing time. Why? That's because we say that it goes back to the smaller number. But here, 12 is not smaller than 1. And my friends, that's because we're starting over again. If we were doing military time, do you want to know what time this would be? It'd be 12:30, but then it would go to 13 o'clock, 14 o'clock, 15 o'clock, and it would do 12 times 2, which is 24. Ugh, that's crazy. Ryan, what do you want this to be, AM or PM? What do you think we should make it?
AM.
AM? Oh, geez. Ryan, we should be in bed right now. Oh.
Now we
All right, everyone. What, Ryan?
We're not supposed to be in bed.
What do you mean? It's 12:30 a.m.
That's the morning.
Yeah, 12:30 a.m. That's midnight 30.
You're thinking of PM.
Because as soon as it hits midnight, the sun starts rising. That's what Gabriella told us, see? 12 p.m. means lunchtime. Would you like me to switch it?
No.
All right. Well, I'm making this dark now. Look, it's nighttime. Thanks, Ryan. All right, Ryan made it nighttime, everybody. Okay, speaking of time, if you are liking the songs, I have a new song for you. This one is telling a story with time. It's about a little guy, little boy, and he goes out and he runs some errands, then he goes on a date, and then he has to get home and he's running late. It talks about telling time by the hour and the half hour. I love, love, love Number Rock, which is the YouTube group. So watch all of their videos and you will be super second grade ready. You might even be third grade ready at that point. We will do this real quick and we'll take our break since we kind of didn't start class until 9:30. How funny is that? But we'll do a couple of these little activities and then I'll send you off to take a 5-minute break, okay? So let me make a little list here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I have 10 clocks and I have a lot of kids. So raise your hand if you would like to solve one of these clocks and I'll write you down so that I don't have to just keep going back and forth. So Malvina is going to give it a shot. Some Mark will give it a shot. Natalie will give it a shot. Dario wants to give it a shot. Who else? Allison wants to give, Audie wants to give it a shot. Anyone else want to try telling time? Oh, Gabriella wants to give it a shot. Anyone else? Let me see. I can't see Kenzie all of a sudden. 1 second, Kenzie. I'm coming over to see if you're raising your hand. Kenzie's raising her hand. Who else can I see for some reason? This computer's so silly. I believe I can see you all. There we go. You all saw me searching for him. Is there anyone who wants to try that I didn't say their name? That's 8 kids. Yay! I'll do one to show you, and maybe one other kid will want to do it. So here we have 2 options. We have 1 clock and 2 times that it could be. I'm going to have you tell me which time you think it is, and I'll drag the red circle over to the, or oval, over to the right time. So if I'm looking at this first clock, I see the big hands on the 6. So yes, it makes sense that it's 30 minutes. And it's in between the 2 and the 3. So I have to go back to the time that it had just passed, which is the 2. So it can't be 7:30. It's nowhere near that. It has to be 2 o'clock. Ding, ding, ding. All right, so I went. How about Allison? Allison, can you do this next clock for us, please? I'll zoom in for you. It's either 10:30 or 4:30. The rest of you can play along, just Allison is going to speak for the class.
4:30.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why can't it be 10:30? 10's right here.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I can't even try and trick you with that one, can I? Awesome job, Allison. If you were saying that and you agree with Allison, give yourself a pat on the back. How about Adi? Adi, can you help us with this next clock here? Uh-oh. Adi, that's a hard one.
That's so easy. 12:30.
12:30. It's in between the 12 and the 1. Why is it not 1:30 though?
Because you already told us that because the our hand did not get to the 1 and it did not even pass to the 1. It only passed to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 6 and 5.
That's hilarious. Awesome job, Adi. That is a perfect way to explain it. You're right. It didn't get to the 1 yet, so it has to be 12:30. Thank you, Adi. How about Natalie? Natalie, please, would you help us with this time? Either 6:30 or 10:30.
It's 10:30 because the little hand isn't at the 6 yet.
Yeah, it didn't get to the 6 yet. It hasn't even gotten to the 12. The 6 is over here. The little hand has so many hours to get to. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more hours to go. My friends, if you're muted, oh, Robert, come back, Robert, and you have to mute yourself. Don't be inappropriate.
No.
What were you saying, girlfriend? What were you saying, Natalie?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Natalie, you were right that it has hours to go till it's at 6:30. All right, let's have Kenzie. All right, Kenzie, can you help us with this clock here?
$5:30.
That is a hard one right there. Look, they're practically on top of each other. And it can't be 2:30 because
the small hand already went there.
yeah, the small hand is long gone, long past that. Awesome job, Kenzie. She got 5:30. Keep patting yourself on the back, my friends. Give yourself a massage. Keep getting all these right. Ooh, 1:30 or 3:30 for the next one. All right, Samarth, this is all you. Oh no, Samarth, don't tell me you got bumped again. Dario, come and save the day.
Okay. So that time is 1:30.
Yes, Dario. I was getting nervous because look, it's so close to the 3 as well. It's right, the 3's right there, 1's right there. You know, I would almost even say it's 2:30, but it's not because it's only past the 1 on the clock. Dario, thank you for coming to our rescue. Gabriella, how about you go next? I'll zoom in for you. Look at that, that's crazy.
It is 6:30.
Because it's in between the 6 and the 7. Gabriella, awesome job, my friends. You are just killing this half hour. It's awesome. So, Martha, if you're able to, I'd love you to go for the next one because we're going to give Malvina 2 for her birthday. Yeah, I think he got kicked. Well, I'll go ahead, my friends, unless someone else would like to try it. You girls went all right. Malvina, you're going to do 2 in a row. You girls went already. Oh, geez, Louise. I have some snails in this class. All right. It's in between the 9 and the 10. So it can't be 12:30, which means it has to be 9:30. Malvina, please come save the day and do the final 2 clocks.
So the first one is 11:30.
Okay. What's the other one?
The other one is 3:30.
Malvina, I can tell you're 7 years old because you're so smart. She really made it, my friends. It looks like with that extra year, Malvina became 2nd grade ready. And here she is telling me that it's 11:30 and 3:30. Awesome job to all of you for trying that out. Today you have the songs that you can listen to. They're on today's post for you. There they are right here. And you have only 2 pages right here. It says 3:30, 3:45, 3:47, and they are 2 time pages. One, you have to write the time on the clock. One of them, you just have to match the times. So my friends, I'll give you 5 minutes and you can go ahead and take a little break, okay?
Can I eat my breakfast?